Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rena, and I'm with Trust Machines. We are a Bitcoin product studio. The best way to think about us is we're kind of like Consensus. We build products on Bitcoin, both on the L1 and the L2. We are a core contributor of the Stacks ecosystem, and our mission is to bring Bitcoin to 1 billion people. There is a lot of ways to bring Bitcoin to 1 billion people, but we fundamentally believe that Bitcoin will scale through L2s. A little bit about me. I've been a Bitcoiner through and through. I discovered Bitcoin in 2012 when I was working in oil. That's right. I used to live offshore on drilling rigs, and I drilled a physical commodity, oil. However, as I was learning about the commodity that I was building, oil, and the energy use of it, I learned about Bitcoin. And it clicked to me that my physical commodity would ultimately be swapped as a digital commodity. And so I went all in on Bitcoin since 2012 and started doing mining pools all across America. It fundamentally changed the way I thought about how market economics work and what macro means. To me, Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is decentralized. The current socioeconomic climate in the world is uncertain. We have debt, inflation, countries are warring, people are cut off from financial means. However, Bitcoin is certain. Bitcoin is finite. Bitcoin is stable. What really cemented the idea of Bitcoin for me is that trust without centralization. If I run a Bitcoin node and you run a Bitcoin node, together we can interact and there needs to be no intermediary. That is the most important aspect of what Bitcoin brought to the world. This concept came 15 years ago, yet no one has really challenged what more can we do with Bitcoin? What more can we do with decentralized peer-to-peer technology? And we're about to enter the most interesting life cycle of Bitcoin right now. In 10 days, Bitcoin will halve. The supply of Bitcoin will shorten for the reward cycle. Yet we have unprecedented demand in America through an ETF. The demand is so high that we cannot fill all the orders coming in America. It makes me wonder of how are we going to reach Bitcoin to 1 billion people? Right now, we're about to unlock a $100 million market opportunity, yet Bitcoin, quite frankly, is not built for this in current form. The only way to make Bitcoin scale will be through L2s. The market opportunity ahead. Right now, BTC, the asset, is $1.3 trillion, just the asset alone. However, the value untapped of Bitcoin could be hundreds of billions of dollars. Think of it like an iceberg. We only see what's on top, but we don't know what's beneath the surface until we build on it. If you were to compare this flywheel economy for Ethereum, Ether, the asset, is about $400 billion, excuse me. But the TVL of ETH and all of the L2s, DeFi, stablecoins, NFTs, 52 billion. If you were to compare that 13% to what Bitcoin could be, we are going to be north of $170 billion just on the surface of Bitcoin. But we haven't really built all of the layers on top to actually create that value and untapped potential until now. Bitcoin for the longest time was in the dark ages. No one was really building on Bitcoin. If you think about it, the community is a little bit resistant to change. We think about wanting to be durable, stable, the most bedrock foundation to build upon. And so we're a little bit slow. We did Taproot some years ago and SegWit with that, and then we kind of stopped the innovation and creativity with Bitcoin. However, a year ago, ordinals really changed how we think about what to do with Bitcoin. It shifted the mind frame from passive asset to productive asset. For those of you who don't know, ordinals is a bespoke Bitcoin NFT. It is very special than any other NFT because the actual data is written into the block. So once that confirmation occurs in that 10 to 30-minute Bitcoin block, it is there forever and it is immutable. It's extremely powerful. I'll give you an anecdote. I had a parent pass last year, and I wanted to save all of the voicemails my father sent to me. Right now, all of my voicemails are in iCloud. Apple owns me. Like, there is no denying it. What I did was inscribe my dad's voice on chain on Bitcoin so that as long as I run one Bitcoin node, my dad's legacy would be preserved forever and no one could take that away from me. That's what you can do with Bitcoin block space. There is block demand wars on why this is so powerful, yet no one is thinking how to scale it. How can I do more with Bitcoin as chain? We're entering this era where degens are about to break the L1. Ordinal craze and runes are coming, and yet the L1 was not built for this. We have to push to the L2 to allow Bitcoin to scale. Satoshi always imagined this from the get-go. If you look at his early chats in 2010, he always thought Bitcoin deserved to have layers, deserved to have value built on top. Products, dApps, applications were meant to be there because he wanted us to harness the durability and security of Bitcoin so that it can be reused for something more. This is the most important development cycle for Bitcoin right now on creating L2s. When I think about an L2, there's a couple different aspects from the tech perspective that really stand out to me for what makes a true L2. The first will be the bridge security. The way you lock BTC on the L1 to deploy to the L2 is critical. Bitcoin has no CEO, and so the way I see it is that as you have this bridge, you need to make it as trust minimized to trustless and leave it in a non-custodial format, just like Bitcoin. Very few L2s are actually thinking about this. The other idea that really is important for an L2 is the speed of the transactions. Right now, Bitcoin is 10 to 30 minutes per block. However, for an actual utility to be built in DeFi, you need 5, 10-second block times max so that people can have on-chain activity on the L2. And the third thing that matters for Bitcoin on an L2 is the programming script that we use. Bitcoin script is notoriously difficult to use, and it was built 15 years ago. The way developers are coding now is very different. People are coding in Rust or Solidity or Go, and these types of languages need to be made available to runtime in Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin L2s is the hottest topic on market, yet this topic has been around for quite some time. There are 4 layers that really spearheaded the movement of Bitcoin L2s. So when you think about these hundreds that have created in the last few months, it's actually more important to think about who's been building in the bear from the get-go. Lightning was the first layer that brought payments, but it also was a massive failure. You have no smart contracts with Lightning. You can make transactions and roll up payments, but that is it. Then we have the idea of DLCs, discrete log contracts. This gives us a little bit more compute functionality, but yet you're limited in what you can build through a DLC. From here on out, we've thought about Liquid. Liquid created the ability to issue assets, yet it doesn't have that full programming environment that you would expect in Ethereum or any other virtual machine. And lastly, there's Stacks. Stacks was the first Bitcoin L2 that created an execution environment that developers can build any type of product they wanted with Bitcoin. Stacks was launched in 2021 and went to mainnet at that point, and it's been building for the multitude of years to bring developers the ability of any product on Bitcoin. Stacks is the only L2 that is in the top 25 for CoinMarketCap currently to date. We have about $1.5 billion in organic TVL, and I mean organic on-chain activity. This is not fake, and this has been a grassroots movement from the get-go. Additionally, we have one of the largest Bitcoin L2 developer communities. Our developer community outpaces some Ethereum L2s right now. And what I would say is it is a well-capital ecosystem. We have enough money and grant funding available for anyone to build apps in our ecosystem. We're about to go through a major hard fork, in 10 days. It's called the Nakamoto upgrade. What it means is that stacks will now have faster block times, meaning that you can now make transactions in 5 seconds, not tied to the Bitcoin L1 of 10 to 30 minutes. This is groundbreaking because this means a world of DeFi opportunities can unlock. The second thing that's most important about the upgrade is the Bitcoin finality. In order to have a transaction on stacks, to reorg it, you must reorg the L1 first. It is too expensive for someone to reorg the Bitcoin L1 at 51%, meaning stacks is as durable as Bitcoin. Lastly, we are creating a new asset called SBTC, which means you can lock Bitcoin on the L1 and use SBTC directly in smart contracts. This ease of Bitcoin L1 to going to the L2 means that you can move payments in seconds and really open up what it means to deploy Bitcoin for DeFi and such. I'm really bullish about the Stacks Bitcoin L2 experience and the SBTC asset that we're creating. It finally means that Bitcoin has a real fighting chance to be more than a passive asset to a productive asset. The Nakamoto upgrade really will bring Bitcoin finality, the ability to read Bitcoin and write to Bitcoin, which very few have ever conquered before. Our chain was built by developers, started as a Princeton PhD project. This chain has now 1 million organic users, institutions coming from other L1s like Solana and Near, and other ecosystems who want to deploy BTC capital into their own environments. And we already have a growing product suite within our ecosystem. We have liquid stacking, perp dexes, AMMs, and such, and there is more opportunity ahead. My company, Trusted Chains, builds a little bit different styles of products. Our products are very widespread. We build DeFi products like an Aave or Compound-like experience to lend and borrow against your Bitcoin, meaning I can take out a loan against my Bitcoin in a stablecoin. We build other products like SocialFi called Console, the ability to use your BTC domain to guardian your social network behind you. And lastly, we have one of the largest wallets in the ecosystem. It's called Lether, and we have over 650,000 users. I would say the most important thing we as a company do is core contribute to the Stacks blockchain and a growing developer community. It is our team of engineers alongside a decentralized group of engineers building the Stacks blockchain and SBTC as an asset. Our ecosystem is quite diverse. We have more than 50 to 100 different entities building real products on Bitcoin. We purposely chose to decentralize our ecosystem. So rather than have one singular entity like a foundation, we are a separate group of people coming together to build real products on Bitcoin. Our most important roadmap ahead is to build the greatest L2 and user experience for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has always deserved to have products, experiences, the ability to actually deploy the asset into smart contracts. And that is what our ecosystem is focused on. We will go through a hard fork in 10 days' time called the Nakamoto upgrade. And as a fast follow, we will launch SBTC as an asset. The world should be building on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is what brought us into the ecosystem in the first place, yet we have largely ignored to do more with Bitcoin. The time is now to build on Bitcoin. Join us in the Stacks community. Thank you.